A quiet opening outside St Olave's Hart Street, one of the few medieval churches in the city that survived the Great Fire. Samuel Pepys called it "my own church," and it still has that tucked away charm, almost hiding behind the railings and the famous skull gate that greets you as you walk in. Walking through the small graveyard, you pass stones from centuries of Londoners who lived and worked in this parish. St Olave's dates back to the 15th century, though there was a church here long before that. It survived the Great Fire of 1666, thanks primarily to a change in the direction of the wind. Pepys noted in his journal that he watched the flames stop just short of it. Inside the nave, the church feels intimate. This was the parish of Samuel Pepys and his wife Elizabeth. Both are buried here. It's also where the plague victims were brought during the 1600s. Every inch of it carries the texture of lived London history. The altar at St Olave's is modest but beautifully framed by the church's medieval proportions. It sits beneath the chancel arch in a space that has been used for worship for more than 5 centuries. The simplicity of the altar fits the character of St Olave's, a working parish church rather than a grand showpiece, and it's easy to imagine generations of Londoners gathering here through plague years, fire and war. All around the altar, the wall becomes a little gallery of lives, every memorial carved entirely in Latin, which gives the whole area a scholarly, almost cloistered feel. It's one of the things that makes St Olave's so distinctive. Even the memorials whisper in the language of learning, faith and early modern London. The memorials are for Peter Turner, a respected physician and scholar, son of William Turner, the father of English botany. His Latin memorial highlights his learning, integrity and devotion of his wife Pasha, who commissioned it after his death. There's a memorial to James Dean, a steady civic figure in the parish. His Latin inscription reflects his life spent in service to the community and to the administrative life of the city. Reverend John Letts, a 19th century clergyman who guided St Olave through periods of change, his Latin epitaph places him firmly in the long clerical tradition of the church. And finally, the memorial to Peter Capone, likely of Italian heritage, commemorated in Latin. Like the others, his memorial suggests a life of service and reflects the international character of the city parish. When you look up, the ceiling becomes one of the church's most striking features. The wooden panels and carved bosses lead your eye to the central sunburst, a symbol of divine light. It's part of the Victorian restoration work added after the centuries of wear. The sunburst gives the church a warm, almost nautical glow, fitting for a parish with strong maritime connections. And one of the little features of the ceiling that I thought was fascinating was these little sigils in each one of the little plinths that hold up the rafters. Now the stained glass at St Olave's is very modest, but it's quietly fascinating once you know what you're looking at. Instead of dramatic biblical scenes, most of the windows are filled with badges and sigils of the City of London's livery companies, the ancient guilds that shape the city's trades. You'll spot the mercers, the drapers, the fishmongers and the goldsmiths, and several others, each with their own heraldic symbol. It's a reminder that St Olave's has always been a working parish, tied closely to the commercial life of the city. There are a few scriptural panels tucked in amongst them, but even those are restrained. Small quotations, simple symbols, nothing too theatrical. The overall effect is quite understated. It feels more like a record of the community than a display of religious storytelling, which suits St Olave's perfectly. This is a church shaped by merchants, clerks, sailors and everyday Londoners, and the windows reflect that practical civic character. Heading down into the crypt, the whole atmosphere changes. It's cooler, the stonework gets rougher, and you suddenly feel much closer to the medieval bones of St Olave's. This is one of the oldest parts of the church, a space that's seen the plague years, quiet burials, Victorian repairs, heavy wartime damage, and it's got that proper old London feel to it. Tucked away down here is a small, authentic medieval altar. It's nothing fancy, just a simple stone table set under the low vaulting. But that's exactly what makes it interesting. Crypt altars were used for early morning masses, private prayers, long before the main congregation gathered upstairs. You can imagine clergy slipping down here at dawn, saying a quiet service while the city outside was still half asleep. It's one of those corners that genuinely feels untouched by time. The crypt itself has been patched up and rebuilt in places, especially after the Blitz, but the layout and the atmosphere are still very much medieval. It's a reminder that St Olave's wasn't just a parish for merchants and clerks, it was also a place of daily ritual and quiet devotion, centuries before the modern city grew up around it. Back upstairs there are display cases, and the artefacts displayed here include fragments of medieval stonework, pieces of early flooring, and items uncovered during restoration. Some date back to before the Great Fire, others survived the Blitz. Each object is a survivor, carrying its own little piece of the church's long story. St Olave's was badly damaged during the Blitz, and the World War II memorial outside honours those lost in the parish and the community who rebuilt the church. The graveyard around you holds centuries of Londoners, merchants, sailors, clergy and families who lived their lives in this corner of the city. And that brings us to the end of this walkthrough. St Olave's is one of the city's quiet treasures, a church that survived plague, fire, war and still stands with its mix of medieval charm and London resilience. If you enjoy seeing videos about the old churches of London and the UK, follow along for more on the Pew Review. Thanks for watching.